Okay, then let's start. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, friends, whichever part of the world you are. Welcome to this fireside chat. This is Parik Jain, founder and lead analyst of EIR Trends. I analyze engineering, manufacturing, and supply chain trends. And the biggest trend right now is how you manage supply chain in this uncertain time. And to talk more about this, we have Sundaresh, the President ITC Infotech for manufacturing and CPG. So we'll talk about supply chain, the simulation, the use cases during coronavirus and beyond, and also impact on different industries, including CPG, pharma, logistics, mining. You understand the audience here is from varied industries, so we'll keep that in mind. So before we start, couple of housekeeping announcements. We will have two audience poll during this conversation and request you to participate in it. Also, we'll take the questions at the end. So you can type your question on the right side in the chat box and we'll take up at the end. So, okay, so welcome Sundaresh. It's good to chat with you today. These are challenging times and I will come straight to the point. Like how you help your customers manage supply chain during these uncertainties.
Yeah, Parik, thanks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are participating in this webinar. As all of us know, supply chains have become extremely complex in the today's environment. And more so when you have a disruption like this, it becomes much more complex. And the organizations have continually fine-tuned their supply chains, and that even makes it much more complex. So in a situation like this, when you have a complex supply chain and an event hits you, uh, many things happen. One of it could be you don't know what to do, and there could be a phase where you are inactive. Inaction could be very costly. Your customers can lose confidence, service levels can go down, your costs can spiral up. However, if you also start taking some commonsensical actions like increase your stock levels or order for premium freight and things like that, it could spiral up your cost, but you have no real advantage because the performance may still not improve. So one of the most effective methods that we have been able to do with some of our customers is to simulate the supply chain itself. So what we do there is first create a operations model of the supply chain. You can call it the digital twin of the supply chain. Then go and bring all the variances, all the complexity of the operations into the supply chain. And then the third step, bring the simulation model to the current state by integrating it to various enterprise systems like ERP, to if you have a real-time IoT feeds and things like that. And then construct an AI or an ML based model to predict some of these variations in either the demand or in the production and all of those. And then you try to simulate it with the events that you want to, right? When you start simulating these events, then you start you have the ability to see the insights and take some corrective actions on this. You will be able to simulate the future state with a combination of these events, and hence see where is the impact and try to take some very pointed targeted actions to correct the situation. So in summary, build that digital twin of your supply chain, have some of the AI ML kind of routines to predict based on your historic data, and then see where the impact is by fast forwarding the digital twin with these events. Farid.
Great. So thanks for giving elaborate answer and explaining the concept of simulation and digital twin in supply chain. So I get it, like you must be using a lot of tools, platforms in this. So can you talk about what tools and platforms you use to this simulation and digital twin for supply chain?
Yeah, Pariksi, we use a combination of in-house built tools for AI and ML to do various predictions based on historical data. We use commercially available platforms, simulation platforms, optimization platforms like AnyLogic or AnyLogistics or O9 or Anaplan. In some places, what happens is some of these platforms are used for supply chain planning and creation of these models. Some of them are very strong in doing simulation, some of them are not. So what I would like to say is we focus on the problem of the customer and then try to use the tool which can provide the right kind of results with of course with the customer's preference, and then we integrate our own tools. See, as an example, with one of our customers, we used one of the platforms and brought in our own AI and ML modules, with which we were able to quickly simulate their current situation, then their stock situation in certain local regions, and narrow down the problem to why was the stock out happening and what are the alternate mitigation steps. So I would say it's a combination of some of the in-house built tools which can help predict based on historic behavior, as well as some of the platforms which allow you to model these complex systems on a digitally, right? So a combination of in-house and commercially available platforms for it.
Right. I think one critical part here is that the knowledge of risk and uncertainties while modeling. So what are your sources to have the more knowledge of risk and uncertainties which are applicable in supply chain?
Yeah, there are a lot of organizations that monitor risks, that too on an industry basis, on a supply chain across the world. We partner with few of them. One of them we are in discussion with them is Resilink. So there are multiple other partners. We work in other geographies. So the most important thing for us is there are many people who provide this risk database. The value that we bring is a quantifiable assessment of if this risk happens with certain probability, what is the impact on your supply chain. So that's the quantifiable assessment that we bring in. Of course, we use some of these databases from third parties, as well as some of our customers do maintain their own risk database and they want to simulate certain risks on a regular basis. So we use either of them.
Okay, great. So coming to this COVID-19 situation, like, do you see the applicability of this simulation in COVID-19? And also if you can give examples of the work you are doing with your customers, especially in the CPG industry, to keep the essential good supply chain running.
That is the supply, the demand, the logistic infrastructure concurrently. Because if you look at any of the other disruptions, possibly take an example of a monsoon, maybe certain facilities are hit, maybe it's a distribution center or a supply center or a manufacturing center, but this kind of situation, it could hit a lot of these facilities simultaneously. Second is with these levels of high uncertainty, nobody knows the dispersion rate and the impact and the spread. So it is very difficult to use deterministic models. Simulation models based on AI and ML are the only possible solutions, because you need to run many scenarios. You don't know which scenario will hit. A combination of these scenarios with various probabilities is what will give you a closer simulation of what can be done. For one of our CAPG customers, in some ways we had an head start because we were already working with them and we had already created the digital twin of the supply chain. And then once the situation hit, then we quickly were able to bring in these events, model some of these risks and uncertainties, and quickly start taking a look at where is the impact, what are the alternate strategies that can be used. Can you kind of switch over to a different distribution center? Even sometimes opening, closing of some of these centers because of the situation, if you can vary it or have an alternate transport. So many of the strategies that the supply chain experts know, we were able to pinpoint when you kind of run a combination of these scenarios. So it is much more complex, much more uncertain, and hence I think simulation is one of the best tools available.
I think it's great. Like, while you guys are working from home yourself, but keep your customers' essential good supply chain running. So it's great. So we take a break for a audience poll.
Yeah, the results of the poll, I can kind of see. I can see around 20 to 25% are already using some form of AI-based simulation, and the rest are yet to kind of experience AI-based simulation for SCM. That's the quick analysis of the polls that came out.
Great. So welcome back. I and Sundesh are talking about simulation. Sundesh, let's discuss simulation beyond CPG industry. Do you see applicability of simulation in different industries? Can you give some examples?
Honestly, I feel it is applicable across any industry which is operating, I would say, a reasonably complex supply chain. As far as the COVID situation is concerned, we are already engaged with customers from the pharma as well as from a precious metals company, where we had an head start. We had created a digital twin for them. Now we were able to come and put in this COVID situations for them. We also worked on very unique kind of problem statements for the pharma supply chain. We had a unique problem where the shelf life of the medicine was very low, and on the other side the demand variability was very high. So given this situation, how do you run a simulation model and then try and see how you can keep your customer service levels at some threshold, and then also minimize wastage? Because what happens here is, if you are unable to if the demand is not meeting up to your higher production, then you end up wasting. So minimize wastage, at the same time keep the customer threshold at some point in some threshold. Only simulation models can help you do this, right? And the second example is a precious bullion metals manufacturer. There is very high unpredictability in the production time, in the volume that gets as an output, because it depends on various factors, where the ore is coming, which mine, the content, and so many other factors. So it's a very complex, unpredictable process. It is not at all close to anywhere which is deterministic, and hence a simulation model helped us to kind of use historical data and then come up with a prediction as to possibly what's the volume that is going to be output in the next 2 weeks, and what could be the kind of timelines it will take to get that kind of a volume. So the marketing team has visibility, production planners have some kind of a guide to go and start doing their production. If they have to do some capex investments to make certain changes to their production, this becomes a decision support system. So I'm giving you examples both in the COVID times as well as without COVID, even how to manage some of these unique problems in supply chain.
Right. So wherever there's a uncertainty, you see the applicability. So that pretty much covers all the industries, especially in manufacturing domain. So great. So let's talk about the capability. So as I understand, for simulation, you need to have the business context and capability and the technical context. So how did ITC Infotech develop its simulation capabilities? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Parik, see, I think you touched the very sensitive now, because simulation, I sometimes keep saying, is garbage in, garbage out. If you don't model the real life system very accurately to the right level of fidelity, the output of the simulation model is not dependable. It is not going to give you the right result. So it is extremely important that the people, the competency and capability of who understand the domain, who understand the supply chain process in detail, who have operated these kinds of supply chains, plus somebody who has expertise in these technologies is required. Fortunately for us, we being part of ITC, which is a conglomerate FMCG company, we have been engaged with them and been an integral part of implementing a lot of their projects. So some of our consultants have a deep domain knowledge, have a very good understanding, have experience of running these kinds of complex systems for long. And as ITC Infotech, we as a strategy have built capability in all of the cutting edge technologies, AI and ML being one. So the combination and the blend is what has helped us to actually deliver results. One without the other, I think you will not be able to build reliable models. You will not be able to use the historical data of the company, and hence very limited value. So the value we are able to bring is definitely because we were able to build these combination of skills, domain as well as technology.
I think great. Like in my research also across the spectrum, I see two type of firms who work in this. One is the management consulting firms who come from business context, and then companies who are typically IT service providers come from IT context. There are very few firms who can combine both business and IT context, and good to see ITC Infotech is one of them. Great. So now it's time for second audience poll.
So I'm able to see the results of the poll. I think the audience here is extremely experienced. 90+% understand what we were speaking about. 91% thinks building a simulation model requires the understanding of both technical and business skills. So I think that kind of shows the maturity and the experience of the audience in the today's webinar.
Great. Yeah. So welcome back. I and Sundesh are talking about simulation. So let's talk the more coronavirus use cases. So Sundesh, do you see the applicability of this simulation in coronavirus beyond good essential goods delivery? Are there other use cases you are working on?
End of the day, if I look at simulation, it is nothing but a technique where you can digitally model any physical system. And hence it has got varied and wide applicability. In the COVID situation itself, we are working on few other use cases. One of them is how do you model social distancing. This stemmed from our earlier work of how do you simulate places like airports and metro stations and see the crowd pattern. So the social distancing use case is coming from that. So you can model, and we are trying to see what is the kind of space you require, what is the queuing pattern, what is the wait time. So many of these can be today simulated using powerful simulation models. So we are working on a couple of them. I'm sure even in the non-COVID situation, as I explained, there are much more examples of you can predict passenger traffic. In an airport scenario, possibly you can fast forward and say whether your security lines will get crowded in 1 hour based on the current traffic. So that's the power of simulation. Once you have the model available, you can put in scenarios and see where it could be impacting you in the next hour, next week, next month. So that's the power of simulation, Parik.
I think great. I think so far we have learned so many use cases and so many industries applicable. I think one question everyone will have, especially the ones who have not started on simulation or not too much aggressive on, like how do we start? So any thoughts on that, like art of start of simulation? How do enterprise can start the simulation or improve their simulation process?
Yeah, I think this webinar is a good start.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
People who have not experienced, for people who have already
Yeah,
experienced, possibly they know the art.
right.
I would say first we should have a very clear expectation of what are your wish lists in terms of what you want the simulation model to deliver. In other ways, what pain points do you have today in your supply chain that you are unable to solve? And if you know that, then we should kind of see whether those can be answered by the simulation model, and then start seeing what are things required to build the simulation model. I think as we talked earlier, we need people who understand the complete system process. We need understanding of at what detail the simulation model needs to be built. We need to understand the richness and the volume of historic data that the organization is having, and then go ahead and then start building this simulation model, either in-house with the expertise that you have, or you can partner with any of the partners who have the capability to understand this and build this. When we are engaged with our customers in this space, what we really do is, first step, we try to understand their supply chain, their processes, and the amount of data they have. We ask some deep searching questions, and then after that we go back and tell them this is the approach. It takes this much time to build the base model, validate it, and then next step is to ingest data, integrate, and then see what kind of situations they want to kind of simulate, and then see the insights. And slowly you can move into a system where it is run on a very regular basis, and the insights go into some kind of a decision making, as well as further improving the model's accuracy and fidelity. So that's how our experience has been so far.
Okay, thanks, Sundesh. I think this is my last question. So on a lighter note, like right now we all are working from home and we have to work from home for home also. So do you think simulation can help any of us here?
I think these are difficult times. All of us at 7:30, 8 p.m. in India, we are trying to do this and sitting at home all day.
Right.
I think it's a difficult situation. Unfortunately, we all have to have our own discipline and our own productivity measures. Simulation can't help, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you, Sundesh. I think it's a good conversation. So we can take some audience questions. So I already have few questions, so keep them coming. So what I will do is I will read the questions and then one of us, Sundesh or me, can answer that question. Yeah, I think first question was your Sundesh. Like, is simulation applicable only to large companies, or even mid-sized companies can take advantage of it?
Yeah, I don't really see an in size of the company being a decision in making the simulation. I think even a mid-sized company, they are facing certain issues with their supply chain and want to improve their performance, want to predict ahead of time the risks. I think it is very much applicable. We have engaged with some of them. Of course, for a large global corporation where the supply chain is completely across geographies and all of that, the complexity is of few orders of magnitude higher, and hence it takes a little bit of time to create the simulation model and bring it to the level of fidelity that is required. But once you do that, I think the kind of results and the benefits that you can get are also on the same scale, right? But to answer it simply, I think even smaller companies have taken advantage, and they can take advantage of simulation to improve their performance of supply chain.
Right. So I think second question is for me. So apart from ITC Infotech, which other firms offer simulation services? So I said earlier, like two type of firms, the management consulting firms and these IT service providers. Among management consulting firms, typically all the big fours, they have the simulation services. Now among IT service providers, all tier one IT service providers have simulation services. I think, but the challenge is to bring both the business context and IT context, and therefore some special, some few service providers who have both, and ITC Infotech is one of them. Right. So take another question. I think this is for Sundesh. So apart from coronavirus situation, where else simulation can help? I think you answered briefly. Maybe you can elaborate more here.
Yeah, as I said, anything to do with modeling your physical system and trying to predict its behavior by putting in any of these events which are actually uncertain. They are not deterministic. They have certain levels of probability. I think those are the areas. So as I said, we can do supply chain complete simulation, or you can actually model a production process. You can actually model a queuing system. You can model traffic in passenger traffic or some other traffic. As long as we know what is the system, what are the boundaries, what are you trying to kind of have insight on, and what are the benefits you are looking for, I think we can come up and say the kind of simulation model that needs to be built.
Great. The next question, I can take it. Like, can organization do simulation in-house, or they need partners to do that? I think organization can do in-house, but my view is it will be better if you take the help of partners, because partners like ITC, Infotech, and all, they will have experience working multiple customers, multiple industries, multiple geographies, and they have more idea of risks and modeling involved. So definitely they can add value from external perspectives. So it's better to do, you can do in-house, but it's better to include partners also. So any view, Sundesh, on this further?
Yeah, I think Parik, you touched upon it. Cross-pollination. Today, what happens is you can bring examples from a different industry to a different industry, because
Right.
if you look at aerospace, their volumes are very low, but the downtimes have very high impact. If you look at automotive supply chain, cost is a very, very critical factor. So there are best practices there. There are best practices in aerospace. There are best practices in pharma and other places where there are other regulations. The inventory carrying costs are very high in certain industries. So there are different best practices, but I think they can be cross-pollinated depending on the problem statement, and it need not come from the same industry. I think those kind of value we can bring as a service provider, because we work with global corporations in this space.
Right. So I think this question is a Sundaresh. Like, somebody saying that we are doing analytics and optimization. So how does simulation differ from analytics and optimization techniques typically?
Optimization techniques are those where you have a problem statement, a design space, you are trying to find an optimal solution. It is done even in the supply chain design in the initial phases when you are trying to put together a supply chain. There's a particular problem and set of parameters and a range, and then you can find an optimal situation. It is very difficult to use an optimization model to predict an event which is uncertain. So simulation models are more useful when you have to simulate and see the impact for an event which is not deterministic, and you have to combine various events with different probabilities and see what is the impact. So that's possible only with a simulation model. And simulation models can be very detailed. The granularity and the fidelity of the simulation models can be very high. Building such optimization models can be very tough. And optimization models work well when things are going well, and it is in the range of parameters that you are expecting. When things start going out and differently, it becomes very difficult to make good use of the optimization model.
Okay. Next question is for me. Like, do you see importance of supply chain increasing going forward in organizations even after coronavirus scare is over? Like, I certainly think that supply chain will become more important. If you see last 20 years, 2 decades and all, whole focus of all manufacturing firms is optimization, optimization, optimization. And you have the inventory, JIT, and you have single source supplying, you have optimized safety stocks. I think what this thing has taught us that we need resilience more than optimization. So even if after this case is over, the organizations will look for resilience in supply chain. And I think beyond supply chain also, beyond overall operations, the importance will increase. And I think it's the best time to be a supply chain professional, in my view, next few years. Okay, so probably we'll take this as the last question. This was Sundaresh. This, how can we say simulation is good? Like, what metrics do you use to say the significance or importance of simulation?
Yeah, I think I touched upon this in a different way earlier. Simulation models are as good as how good the inputs and how correctly how the real life system is represented. So you can say a simulation model is good only after it is validated. You can validate it by running it on your past data, retrospective data. You already know the outcome. You need to very much compare the results that the simulation model is providing you with the actual results that you got in the past. And once there is a very high level of correlation, and that is the only time after which you can say the simulation model can be used to model new scenarios, and the output can be used reliably. So without validation of the simulation model, it is not going to be considered as a good model. So a good simulation model, according to me, is something which is validated and is able to give you the same output that you already know and you got it in the past, and the correlation levels have to be higher. And once the correlation reaches upwards of 95%, then you know it's a very accurate simulation model. It really represents the physical supply chain very closely and accurately.
Right. I think that brings to the end of our chat. So if your question remain unanswered, or if you have further questions, please write it to us. Also, just when you close this webinar, you will have a survey, so request you to fill it up. So thank you, Sundesh. That's a good discussion. Thank you, audience, for so many questions. So goodbye and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you all. If you have any further questions, please get in touch with us. Thanks for your enthusiastic participation and spending your valuable time. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, guys.